Hello watchers, and welcome back to the channel. And today I received this in the mail from the United States. You can see there I've taken out the address card, of course, and you know, I'm going to do a bit of an unpacking unboxing, which is something I haven't done before. So looking forward to opening this, and so here we go. Just get my knife and I'm gonna cut the side of the package here. Let's have a look. And yep, it is a Seiko. You can see here, and you know, fairly standard. You know, we can see the model there straight away, the SUN055, if you recognize that. You know, fairly standard entry-level box. I think we'll take out the sleeve and set that aside. Okay, and here we are. That's you know, nothing quite like that first time you look at a watch when you open it from the package and it's traveled thousands of miles to get to you. So what we have here is, let's take that pillow out, the Prospex series Seiko SUN055 GMT watch. So, you know, right here we have this tan, you know, verging on orange strap. I think Amazon actually calls it orange. Open that up. Look at that. That's solid, you know, shiny bezel with the compass points, and that GMT hand in white, steel hour markers, and standard hands otherwise. Still got the sticker on the back there. Where's the tag gone? Oh, it came off. So there we go. That's Seiko Prospex. Yeah, original tag. And there we have that display back. Interestingly, this is a Kinetic, as you saw from the case front. I'm not sure why they would necessarily choose to display a Quartz Kinetic movement, maybe just a rotor. So there we have it. Now let me just put that on for the wrist shot. Putting it on here, and there we have that sitting on the wrist. So, you know, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna wear this for at least a week before I come back and do a review. So, you know, I'll put this all together with the proper review once we come together. Once I've had this on for at least a week to trial and properly test run it. I'll see you guys when we come back in the future. Alright, so here we are. It has been 1 full week of use. I have worn this every day for the last 7 days since this arrived into my possession, and you know, I feel I've gotten to know the watch enough to give a fair, at least a review that's based on some amount of time. So just to go through it again, this retails for $395 US, or in the Seiko USA listing, and that's what I'll I guess base the value on later on when I do comparisons. What we have here is the Seiko 5M85 Quartz Kinetic GMT function caliber movement. So, you know, already earlier I believe I already showed that case back with that kinetic rotor that you can see going through there. And again, I really don't understand why they didn't make some effort at decorating that. You know, if you're not going to do that, you know, probably just make that case back solid rather than having that you know, that small bit of compromise on making a display back there. It does have the way this adjusts is an independent hour adjustment, which I'll demonstrate now actually. So just going to open the crown, and the way you set the time is firstly to set the GMT time, which, you know, I'll just show hex and you set the GMT time by moving the minute hand, and you can see that GMT moving. Okay, so I'm just going to put it back to the time there for purposes of this review. And then subsequently you set the local time using the first position, and you can see, you're just moving that hour hand to whatever time you want to set. And the other good thing is that if you look at the date there, it's got the 14th. This thing can go backwards. So you can see I've just flicked it back to the 13th. So that's a good thing. But the bad thing is that it doesn't have a quick set date. You have to turn this for every day you want to change the date by. Okay, so that's really a demonstrating of the setting there. It's got the kinetic capacitor that has a 6 months maximum power reserve. So fairly standard for this day and age. This doesn't stop completely, as far as the manual says. It doesn't. The second hand will not stop completely in the dark. It will jump in 2-second increments when it goes to low power, and that's the power reserve button there. You can see. So I'll just click it, and you can see it's gone forward by 10 seconds, and that means it's got more than 2 days, somewhere above 2 days of charge left, and it's got various increments between 5 to 30 seconds on how it tells you how much charge it has left in there. This case is actually quite large. It's 47 millimeters across, on the body there. It is 14 millimeters thick, and it's got appropriate, I think, appropriate 24 millimeter lug width for 47 millimeter wide case. But interestingly, I think it doesn't really come across that big, because the lug-to-lug width is only 50 millimeters, which is actually relatively small, really quite small for a watch that is 47 wide here. And the way it achieves that is that most of the width is this body popping out here, and if you look at where the hands are, the strap is connected to the watch, it really has a big cut in, and it's almost cut in right into the case back, and that case back width is only 40 mils, allowing the position of the straps to sit closer in, and therefore the lug-to-lug width is only 50. That distance there is only 50 mils, so it really looks quite square rather than as ovoid as many other watches would with a 47 millimeter size. It sits a bit better on the wrist, I think. It does have a screw-in display back, as we've seen already when I demonstrated. It does have a screw-in back, and when I set the watch, you saw I had to screw the crown out, so it's got a screw-in crown. So proper water-resistant features. It's rated at 100 meters water-resistant. You can see there on the dial, black dial with white GMT color code. So you can see the 24-hour marking on the face is in white, and that GMT hand is in white, and the word GMT on the dial is in white. So the appropriate GMT type color coding there. Hardlex crystal, it's not sapphire, and that bezel is pure, is essentially undecorated stainless steel. It is as in it doesn't have a PVD, doesn't have a bezel insert. It's got a brush surface on the top there. And it's got a small polished edge on the inside, and it's got a polished edge on the outside. And these, I guess that 3 surfaces inside the grip there, those are matte or brushed, they're not polished. So I just want to spend a bit of time on the bezel. The bezel's quite interesting, free rotating, no clicking. It's a compass marking, and you can see some compass directions there in degrees, and then also northeast, southeast, southwest there. It interestingly it's non-circular, if you can already note it. This diameter here, the diagonal diameter on the compass bearing is wider than the north-south bearing, and if I can exaggerate it by turning it 45, you can see it's given the watch the body, the bezel, I guess what do you call that? The bezel silhouette is a little bit more of a diamond shape now. So an interesting different take on bezel design here. None of my watches quite have this particular type of design, and then already it's a compass bezel. It's got that compass point design of the loom, which are really quite, find quite distinctive. Instead of the arrow pointing inwards, as you might in dive watches, this is pointing outwards, like the points of the compass. Okay, so I just want to quickly cover how to use this as a compass. In the northern hemisphere, where most of the world's population live, what you would do is, it's actually simpler than the southern hemisphere. You basically just keep it at north at 12 o'clock and point the arrow, the GMT arrow, to the sun. So you can imagine this is pointing at just after 9 a.m. in the morning and the GMT time, and the sun would be roughly, in the, I guess, in the southeast position, depending on where you are. It may be closer to overhead, but I guess if you're anywhere in the northern hemisphere, above, I guess above the 23rd degree latitude, the sun should be south of you, and if you point that to the sun, that should be roughly the position of the sun, and that would be pointing north. And this is of course an estimate. In the southern hemisphere, it gets a bit more interesting, actually. What you would do in the southern hemisphere is to, now let me just get this straight. What you would do is you would point the south position on the GMT hand, and then you would point the 12 o'clock at the sun. So you can imagine at 9 o'clock in the morning in the southern hemisphere, for example in Perth, the sun would be somewhere in the north east, so it's roughly that direction if you were facing north-south on this latitude. And so you point that to the sun, and this GMT hand should roughly be pointing south, and therefore you use the compass marking to locate north, east, west, etc. So that's really the use of the compass bezel, which I found quite interesting. I never knew this before, so I had to look it up and kind of learn a little bit more about it to I guess do this review and explain that. So that was a good little thing I learned. The band is described as leather, and if you look at the construction, it's pretty clean, and it doesn't say, it doesn't say genuine leather, which means it almost certainly isn't genuine leather. It's going to be synthetic leather or rebonded leather, or one of those kind of types of leather, which I guess I don't really mind. It doesn't pretend to be an alligator pattern like many watches do, and I do kind of like this kind of, I guess, tan orange color, this brown orange color. It does pop out on your wrist quite well. You've already seen that wrist shot of mine earlier, at least with my skin tone, and it's got a kind of casual sports look. I like the color combination. What I've really enjoyed about this watch, the color combination of the strap with this sporty kind of look. It's got a casual style. It's really clearly got a hiking, trekking type of theme. And I think I get what they're trying to achieve, and it's not a bad look at all, in my opinion. What's not good about this? Well, firstly, the relative strength is the proper water resistance of the case. I think I have no doubt I would not hesitate submerging this case in a swimming pool, doing activities like that. But it's got this, this strap, which really, I guess you shouldn't be taking into water. So that's a bit of a weakness, in terms of the choice. This watch does come in other formats, in a steel bracelet, at least in Australia there is. I'm not sure what models are available in the USA. And you could, of course, swap this out for a NATO or something else if you prefer. So there's a relative weakness. The major gripe, the real major gripe I have with this watch is the GMT hand is too light. It really, I think, should be darker. This has caused confusion in some lighting conditions with the hour and minute hands there. The hour and minute hands and the applied markers have this gold tone. GMT is painted white, but in certain conditions, like in incandescent lighting, yellow warm lighting indoors, you can get confused. You really have to look a second time to figure out, hang on, which one is the minute hand I need to look at to tell the time. Outdoors, I don't think it's a problem. The gold sticks out, so you're not going to get as confused. but you know, at times I had to have a second glance or third glance at this watch. You know, they could have gotten away with it so many other ways. You know, paint that GMT hand black and maybe leave the tip white. You could make it maybe not skeletonized, where the hands are skeletonized, or the other way around. You know, the tip of the minute and the GMT hand, the loom shape is, you know, it's different, but it's close enough that in the dark, you know, you really, I find it really difficult to tell. I have to look very closely and look which is the longer hand to figure out which is the minute hand in the dark, if you really can't see the hands at all and you're relying purely on the loom. And, you know, as an example, I'll bring my Ingersoll in here. You know, look at that. You know, the hour and minute hands, completely different design, solid loom, you know, colored. And you look at the GMT hand, it's really dark red with just a point triangle at the tip. I've never had to look at this twice. I can tell the time easily, you know, with a glance. This one, sometimes I glance at it, I think, hang on, what time was it? So, you know, I'm sorry, Seiko, if you're listening to this, that really is a weakness in this design, and I think that probably should be revised. So, you know, there we have it, a look at this, you know, this Seiko Prospex GMT watch in kinetic movement with a quartz caliber. I hope that's been, you know, insightful and enjoyable, and at least maybe educational with the use of the compass bezel, something that was new to me as well. Thank you guys again for watching this far. Give us a like, let me know what you think, and as always, I will catch you guys next time.